Running your own business is not smooth sailing. You will make mistakes, and that's okay. Every entrepreneur does. Knowing that already helps you to mentally prepare for it. Another thing that helps is to know the type of mistakes that new business owners make, which is exactly what we will discuss in this video. Hello and welcome to the Savvy Corner. My name is Alisa, and on this channel I talk about managing your money, your business and your mind around it. This video is another one that's part of the series Ready for Entrepreneurship, where I share practical tips and strategies for making the jump to entrepreneurship smoother. I've interviewed some amazing business owners on the things they wish they had known before making this transition, and I will share their wisdom and mine during the series. Today's video will highlight the 5 most common mistakes that new business owners make and give you some tips for either avoiding these mistakes or learning from them. Let's jump straight in. The first mistake is not having the right mindset for running a business. I see a lot of people who move into entrepreneurship after they have previously been in a job, and they bring their employee mindset with them. They still see themselves as no more than a performer in the system rather than the manager of that system. They still trade their time for money and don't take time to create a strategy and to evaluate and adapt that strategy regularly. One of the entrepreneurs I interviewed highlighted this by saying that new business owners need to realize that they are a supplier of a service or a product, and therefore they should act accordingly and adopt a commercial mindset. I talked more about the difference between business owner and employee mindset in a previous video. I don't want to repeat myself here, so I will link that video for you on the screen and in the description box below. The second mistake most new business owners make is their inability to filter people, ideas, and advice. And this is perfectly normal and a necessary mistake in my opinion. Why do I say that? In the beginning, you might want to say yes to everything. And if saying yes to something doesn't take you away from pursuing a revenue-producing activity, then you should. But you very quickly start to realize that certain types of opportunities simply don't work for you, or they don't bring the results you expected. Learning to say no is why I think it's worth making this mistake. And I believe it's important that you go through this yourself and learn from your own experience rather than taking advice from others on what works and what doesn't for your business. There are, of course, exceptions when you work with someone who is qualified and experienced to give advice. But for the most part, you will notice that everyone all of a sudden has something to say about how you should conduct your business. Take that with a pinch of salt. People might be trying to be helpful or to protect you, which is very kind of them, and you can acknowledge that and be grateful, but that doesn't mean that you should do what they say. You are not in business to be nice. Of course, you should be polite and professional always, but your job is not to please everyone, and even if you try, you will fail. Which brings me to my next point, filtering people. And there are 2 elements to this. The first one is choosing very carefully the people who you associate yourself with, your collaborators, and even your clients. You want to have a clear process of selection as well as a solid contract to protect you from potential problems or misunderstandings further down the line. The second aspect of filtering people is your ability to recognize fancy worded requests for what they are. You might get a lot of requests from people who want to pick your brain or do some market research for their businesses or get your opinion on something business related. This is all slang for I want you to do something for me for free, especially if it comes from people you don't already know and have a working relationship with. At least that's what happened to me, and that's my experience. In the beginning, I naively fell into this trap and I felt used and resentful afterwards. There were times, of course, when I developed a relationship further, but they were quite rare. What I find is that, especially if you are a coach or in one of the helping professions, people expect you to offer your time and expertise for free under the banner of being helpful. With that in mind, I want to quote one of the entrepreneurs I interviewed who put this very nicely. Learn how to quickly and politely rid yourself of people who were missing a reciprocity chip. And finally, when it comes to filtering, let's talk about ideas. You need to listen very carefully to what your clients want and to not be overprotective of your own ideas. In the beginning, it's okay to experiment and don't be afraid to try new things. If a customer makes a suggestion, take it very seriously. If they make a complaint, learn more about what the problem is. If they give you negative feedback, don't take it personally. This is all gold information that you can use to make your products or services better and desirable for your clients. Speaking of not taking it personally, I filmed a video a while ago on how to deal with rejection as an entrepreneur, which I will again link for you. The third mistake new business owners make is to be overly generous or to work for free. I already mentioned this briefly earlier, but let's talk more about it. There is a debate going on here where people argue that it's okay to do some free or low-fee work in exchange for references and testimonials, or in the hope that it will entice those clients to engage in paid work with you. On the other side of the debate are people who argue that this type of client acquisition technique doesn't work. I personally believe that free work is only a good idea if it's a requirement. For example, if you're a coach and you need a certain number of coaching hours for your qualification, or if it brings you huge social proof, like writing for high-profile publications or doing a coaching demo for a prestigious organization. Outside of these situations, I'm generally an advocate of not working for free. I don't think it is effective, and I don't think the client is committed enough when they don't have any skin in the game. However, I do believe in offering free value and free content. I have an entire video on the topic, which I will again link for you, and I strongly encourage you to go and watch it after you've done watching this one. If you're enjoying the video so far, please give it a big thumbs up. This video was inspired by the tips and advice shared by these amazing entrepreneurs. I will leave their contact details below if you want to check out their work, and I would like to take this opportunity and thank them for their contribution. The next mistake new entrepreneurs make is to compare themselves or their businesses to others. This trap is very easy to fall into, especially given all the information and the pictures that we see on social media. Comparisons can make you feel miserable, like you're not progressing enough, or your business is not as good as others, or that you should be doing X, Y, Z. No wonder so many entrepreneurs suffer with imposter syndrome. I have a video dedicated to this subject, and in it I talk more about comparisons. I will link it for you below, but the essence of it is that the only comparison you should be making is with yourself. And always strive for you and your business to become better versions of what they were before, and to look for progress rather than external validation. The fifth mistake is to be afraid of making mistakes. Most people I interviewed refer to this as the fear of failure, and it can be paralyzing. The key here is not to see mistakes as failure, but to see them as lessons, experiences that you can learn from. Before I started my business, I read the book Failing Forward by John Maxwell. In the book, he talks about the fear cycle and how fear is fueled by someone's inability to do something in the past. That fear leads to inaction, which in turn leads to inexperience and perpetuates that inability, which fuels the fear. I will link the book below if you want to check it out. I believe the quickest way out of this cycle is action. Doing things without overthinking and without overplanning. I would also like to suggest that we replace the term failure with the term learning curve. If we can see failure as a learning curve, then fear of failure becomes fear of learning, which sounds a bit ridiculous, don't you think? So embrace the learning, accept that you will make mistakes, and use them as valuable lessons to propel you and your business forward. With that in mind, don't forget to celebrate your successes, as small as they may seem. They will keep you sane in hard times. Please give it a big thumbs up. Pat, 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 pat. Damn it. I have a dip. Okay, let's try that again. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, you might like these two as well. That's it from me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.